How you doing, everyone? I'm so excited for this game 2 of Origin here between the Blues and Maroons, and I'm tipping a slight Blues win. They're always really, really close games, so somewhere around that 18-14. On the Blues side of things, it could be a little bit more scoring in this one. It's going to be a flat track, a dry track out in Perth, so yeah, that could be a little bit higher than that, but generally I'm going for a Blues win. Obviously a Blues supporter and would love a nice game 3 with something on the line. But outside backs, last time we spoke about Brian To'o being a good selection. I'm going to stick with him again at that 12,500 mark. Got a 51 in that first game and has really come into his own over the last bunch of weeks, scoring some tries for Panthers, played great for New South Wales, and I think he's right back into his work after having that injury there. So Brian, I think it's going to be a great opportunity to get someone at a cheaper price that could do really well for you. Obviously, the guys up top, Teddy and Burton, are two guys that you could really get some great scores out of, especially Teddy. We know what he was like in game 1. Had a great game, even in a loss for New South Wales, and still picked up that 58. But if you're looking at a couple other guys, you can see here we got some good scores out of To'o, Cobbo, and also Holmes as well. So you see the low 40s from those two guys, and obviously at a much cheaper price point. If you can get somewhere around the 35 to 40 mark, and you can spend that money elsewhere in the halves and also the forwards, which I think there are some great options there, then there's reason to go away from Teddy. But if we're tipping a New South Wales win, then Teddy could also be a great opportunity to do well there and probably spend a little bit less in potentially the forwards would be my choice there. If you're looking at other options, obviously Burton might kick a little bit as well. He's playing in the centres though, so that's a slight issue in terms of fantasy scoring usually. Holmes obviously had an incredible game and could do similarly again. So those kind of guys are going to be solid options there. If we're looking down the line, Ponga had a pretty solid game, but only to 23 points. So he had a great game for Knights on the weekend, so there's definitely an opportunity for him to come out and do well. In terms of the other guys, I wouldn't really be looking anywhere elsewhere personally. And we'll move to the halves and the hooking position now. So Nathan Cleary up top didn't play very good at all and still had the 67 points. So that obviously comes together with a lot of the kick meters, which he normally does for Panthers. And he's someone that scores incredibly well in normal NRL, and that translates always to the State of Origin arena. All we need from him is a slightly improved game, and he could score at least the same or better than that. And if you're paying $21,920, you're hoping for over 60. And if you can get anywhere around the 75 to 80, then we can have an awesome game for him. I'm definitely tipping him to be close to man of the match as well in this game. So I think Cleary is the one out of the top two that I personally would be going for, but I can understand why you'd go for Munster as well. He had out of this world game in round 1 and got that 82.3 points. So I think I'm expecting somewhere around the 55 to 65 from him on a regular basis. And, obviously has those out of this world games like that 82, but you see Cleary didn't have a good game at all and can still get that 67. So definitely more consistent there is my theory on that. But $600 more expensive than Munster is Cleary. Daly, so obviously $2,000 less expensive than those two guys. Picked up a 70 in game 1, and I just think he had one of his better games in a good while for Queensland. I think that 70 is probably a little bit high, and I'm thinking him go back to that 55 to 60 there. So that's why I'd be going for Cleary personally. I just think he has a more chance of hitting that 70 than the other two guys on a regular basis there. Obviously, if Queensland come out and win again, they can do the same thing. So the top 3 selections are the clear best ones for me. Damien Cook coming off the bench is a slight issue, so him not playing 80 takes him out of my calculations as being one of the top picks in this one. Obviously, $16,500 is a decent price, but if you look at guys like Harry Grant there, he's at 12,200, and I'm probably not really going to push him too much as an incredible option there. Obviously, he has some value, but the 45, 50 minutes that he's going to get is obviously a little bit of an issue. Benny Hunt, you see there, you got the 34 and just limited minutes as well. Happy Coruscant, 14K. I just think there's better options. He's not going to play massive minutes. He'll be lucky to get half a game, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. And at 14,000, I think he's just too expensive. Jerome Luai had a great game last time in terms of his fantasy output, and he only really got into the game in the last 20, 25 minutes. A bunch of tackle breaks, the line break as well. So I think Jerome at 11.5, you could sneakily pop him or a Harry Grant into the flex, and I think you could do pretty well. I would go for one of those two guys over an outside back in that flex position. All right, we move to the forwards now. Payne Haas, an obvious, great option. Picked up the 60 points there and big minutes, and that's the biggest thing in this pack for either team is just getting those minutes, which they're used to getting in NRL, but in the Origin arena, a lot of time they'll play 55, 60 minutes for NRL and then 40 or so in Origin. Payne Haas is one of those ones that just plays big minutes no matter what, and I think he's obviously going to be a great option again. Cam Murray picked up 50 off the bench last time and 55 minutes, and I think there's a great opportunity for him to play the full 80, whether it be on the edge or moving a little bit to the middle. So Cam Murray, I think, is a top selection this week. I went pretty hard in at Isaiah Yeo last game and just didn't deliver, so I think he's going to show some improvement from there. That 39.6 will be the lowest that he could possibly get, I believe, in Origin, and I'm expecting a 50 plus from him this week. So if you want to jump in and give him another crack, then I think that's a solid one. Look at guys like Josh Papalee, and he's one of those guys that obviously gets the less minutes in Queensland and doesn't have the same impact that he does at NRL level. He has to score in bunches in terms of getting tackle breaks, offloads, tries for the Raiders, but when he plays for Queensland, it just doesn't happen as much. He definitely has the impact, but I don't think he has it on the scoring sheet in fantasy. Two guys that are going to be working hard through the middle at a very similar price of Tino and also Pat Carrigan. So both of those guys, I think, are a solid pickup this week. And got a 58 for Paddy, a 49 for Tino. I'm expecting about a 48 to 50 for both of those guys this week. So if you can pick either one of them, I think that would be a good idea. If you want to go a little bit lighter, I think Capewell is also always a solid one. He's going to be around that 35 to 45, so at 11,700, he could definitely do a job for you. Lindsay's one of the ones I'm worried about in terms of minutes. Liam Martin got more minutes than I expected last game. And if we're looking at the bench for the Blues there, you've got obviously Junior Polo there. You've got Talakai, who's going to cover the outside backs and also the interchange, and also the back row, which, is decent, obviously, but in terms of Liam Martin, is he going to take any minutes away from Liam? I'm not exactly sure. They've obviously got Cook there, who's going to cover the middle as well. So I just feel like for them, they're not going to be rotating Liam too much, and I feel like he's a great selection for your squad. Liam Martin there at 11,000, awesome. Felice Kafusi at 10,800, always delivers in the Origin arena, so he's also a cheap one that I think you can plug in and play. The other guys in this interchange, in Arrow, Bolo, and also Nanai, I don't think are great options this week at all. Just the minutes are going to be an issue for them. So that's my theory there of the forwards. You can go pretty light there, and you can go for a Teddy in the outside backs and go for a big dog in the halves and hookers. There's definitely plenty of options as to what you should, what you can go this game. But I'll leave that up to you now as to how you want to take these picks and that analysis. Jump in the description, guys. There's the sign up link in there. Hit that, jump in, get started in Draftstars. If this is your first time, let me know in the comments. I hope you have a great night watching the footy, and we'll catch you in the next few videos, guys. Have a good day.